As an instructor, I look for, pray for, and meditate on what message can I share with my students in a practice. And sometimes there's nothing and it's just a asana practice, and that's perfectly fine. Other times I do feel an inspiration from yogic scriptures or other things that I might read or times that we're in, and that was particularly true this week. So I wanted to share this practice with you today as a means of encouragement. So if you're out there and you want to join along, go ahead and lay down on your mat or sit up nice and tall. Either way, just taking the eyes closed, just kind of coming into your breath to get us started. We'll just find a quiet space to receive this morning or this afternoon, wherever you're at in the time zones, this message. So just take a few breaths in through the nose. You can even sigh out through the mouth as we get started. This inspiration today has to do with what a time we are living in right now in history. This time is going to be remembered, recorded, and relevant to the world's story, and we are living in it. Breathe into that. We can look at it like, oh, we're living in it, or oh wow, we are living in it this time in history. So as we come to our mats today, I'd like us to think about a phrase that actually comes from the Christian Bible. It says, perhaps you were born for such a time as this. Perhaps you were born for such a time as this. Breathe into it. That phrase comes from a story of a young woman named Esther who, much like us, found herself quite unexpectedly in a unique position. Here we are, we're quite unexpectedly in a unique position, aren't we? And for her, it was a position of queen at a time when her people were in grave danger, but speaking up might have cost her her life. And her cousin, his name's Mordecai, encourages her to boldly speak her truth. And he says, perhaps you were born for such a time as this. Well, what does that have to do with our yoga practice? Well, our mat is more than just moving our bodies and asana. Our mat is where we learn how to live our best lives. The principles of yoga, the tools of the yoga practice are a guide for our lives off of the mat. And yoga asks us to live a life beyond our physical selves, fully and boldly in our truth, to be present in each breath and to recognize our place on the timeline in this lifetime. Breathe into your space, your timeline. You're placed here at this time. So today, as we all find ourselves quite unexpectedly thrust into a whole new way of life with new challenges, we may be in a unique position to live our best lives. Who knows? Perhaps you also were born for such a time as this. So we'll begin to just gently move our bodies today. Let's come to lie down on our mats if you're not already there. Tuck the knees in towards the chest. And give yourself a great big hug today. Good. Release the hands from the legs, but keep them kind of hugged in here towards the body. And we'll just begin to warm up our core, just dropping the toes of the right leg down and bringing it back in. And then the left toes down and back in. And now just see about your breath here. Could you match some movement with the breath? Exhale the toes down. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, toes down. Inhale, bring it back. Just notice how your back feels in this activity, how your core responds, and just breathe into it. Just become a witness of the body so that we can care for it well this morning or this afternoon, wherever you're at. Good. Hug the knees in and send both feet up into the air. Inhale, exhale, pull them back in. Inhale, stretch them up, knees over hips, ankles over knees. Bring it back in. Good. Last time. Hold them up. Point and flex the feet. Round the ankles. See if you hear any snap, crackle, pops. Good. You might also hear some thunder rolling in my background today. Finally getting some rain. Good. Exhale, knees in, feet down. Very good. Open wide through the arms and just take a few windshield wipers. Let those hips stretch out. Massage your low back. We'll keep this practice pretty all levels today, moving with ease as much as possible. Make sure you have room around you so you're not knocking into things. You just agree with me to take it at your own pace. Never overdo, never push too hard. Good, come back to center. You can roll onto your side, press your way to seated, or rock your way up to seated, either one. And as you come to seated, we'll come to Sukhasana, easy seated pose. So we want to rock onto our sit bones a little bit here, cross our legs like a crisscross applesauce, lengthen up through the spine, drop the shoulders, reach up through the crown of the head, tuck your low ribs, feel a little belly engagement. Inhale, take the arms up overhead, and exhale, the hands come together. Bring them to your heart center and press your thumbs in towards your heart. We'll take this moment to set an intention for our practice. And what is an intention for our practice? Well, it might be what we came to the mat for, what we're hoping to gather, or something that we're hoping to manifest. Another well-known instructor, Catherine Budig, she says that setting an intention is crucial, but following through is critical. Think about that. You can set your intention, but then you got to follow through. What's your follow through to your intention today? If Esther wouldn't have followed through, just had an intention to save her people, but did nothing about it, they would have all perished. So in our time, such a time as this, set your intention and set your follow through. Nice work, guys. Breathe into it. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, right fingertips to the floor, left hand up and over, stretch your left side body. Inhale, all the way back to center. Exhale, move the other way. Good, keep those sit bones rooted, keep moving. Inhale, each time to the side, bend into the elbow a little deeper. Just begin to open up each side of the body here and find your breath. Beautiful, last time through, we're gonna hold on the right. Down to the forearm if it reaches, if not, anywhere along the path. Breathe your left shoulder back. Open your heart, gaze up. If the neck doesn't like to gaze up, no worries, you can look to the floor. Move your heart back to center. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take it the other way. Palm down, reach. Forearm down if it'll reach. Look internally at your right sit bone. Push it down. There you go, good. Lift up. Palms come together. Exhale, heart center. Drop your chin towards your chest. Bow in. Breathe back in towards your intention. Back into your follow through. Root the seeds down so that they can grow. Planting it deep within your heart. Drop your hands, keep your head bowed in. Hands down to the mat, either side of you. Inhale the right ear towards right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. A couple more times, just move with your breath, massage out all the tension. Let it go. You can sigh through the mouth a couple times if it helps. Beautiful. And then lift the head back in line with the spine. Take your hands, thumbs facing down, and pull open the shoulders onto your back. And breathe here. Your heart is forward. Stretch through your chest and your collarbones. If you can, go ahead and clasp the hands behind you and pull the palms together. Push the knuckles to the earth. Lift up through your heart. Our intention is usually found being rooted in coming from the heart center, from our heart. So shine it forward. Good. If you can, go ahead and take a bow in. Hinge from your hips, let the arms follow, forehead down towards the mat. If that's too much, just back off, or you can leave your hands down towards the sacrum more. Just find your path. Inhale and rise back up. Good. Gently release the hands, kind of shake it out a little bit. And then clasp the hands in front of you. And we'll just begin to round through the wrists a little bit here. You can think of this like a figure 8 shape or an infinity shape. Watch your hands move, watch your wrists move. Watch how the brain tries to play with us here. Go ahead and switch the hands the other way. Don't be surprised if you find that to be difficult. Go ahead and do the best you can with it. Working the right and left side of the brain today. Excellent. And release, shake it back out. Let's move on to our hands and knees. Come to tabletop position. If your knees are a little bit sensitive, you can always grab a blanket, a towel would work great, or a pad to pad up under your knees. We'll bring our wrists under the shoulders, our knees under the back edge of the hips here. And we just want to find a nice flat back by beginning to activate our core, really toning the belly in. Good. Just feel your fingertips root down and feel a little pull between the crown of your head and your tailbone. Slide your hips from side to side. This can be a small movement or it can be dipping in. You find what works for you. Experiment, be playful on your mat today. All the way through our asana practice, we're going to go into different poses and different body shapes. I like what Maya Angelou said. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. So you can always change your asana if you don't like it. If you don't like the pose we get into, change it. We cannot change the circumstances of where we're at today, right? As far as COVID-19. So we can change our attitude about it. Come back to center. Sweep the hips back, child's pose. Inhale, back up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Keep moving. And that's the theme of the practice today. Changing our attitude to what if, perhaps, we were born for such a time as this. What do we bring to this time? What can we learn? How will we move through our space on the timeline? One more breath. Exhale all the way back, child's pose. Set it down and back. Anytime in the practice that you're tired, that you're not feeling it, that you're out of breath, or that you've lost sight of your intention, I'm going to encourage you to come right back to this space, this pose. Come back in on yourself here, hugging in, safety, and just until you feel ready to come back out into the world, back into the practice. One more breath. Good, we're going to start to move the spine here, undulating through a cat-cow, bringing ourselves back to tabletop. Inhale, sweep the belly low, open wide through your sit bones, pull your heart through and gaze up. Exhale, round your spine, chin towards the chest, press away from the floor a little bit with your hands and knees. Inhale, shine your heart and your intention forward, breathe into it. Exhale, imagine your follow through, your action. Keep going with the pace of your breath. Feel the spine begin to warm. Open it up, creating beautiful space to move deeper into our practice today. Come back to flat back. Nice job. Just come up onto your fingertips, or if you have blocks at home, you're welcome to use those as well. And sweep your right foot through into a low lunge. Bring your right knee over your right ankle and work your hands up onto the thigh as you set your shoulders over your hips, squaring both hip bones forward to the top of your mat. Drop your shoulders, lift through the crown of your head. Press your front right foot fully into the earth. And press your back shin and top of your left foot into the mat. Breathe your hands up into the air. Inhale, palms face each other. Shoulders rest and relax down the back. Give a little energetic press forward of the hips. Feel your left quad get a stretch, or left hip flexor. Bring your both hands down to the mat on the exhale breath and leave the left hand rooted as you send your right arm into the air. Twist into the right. Look up towards your right thumb if that serves you. If your neck says no, then look down to the floor, straight out in front. Breathe your right hand back down to the mat. Breathe your right knee back into tabletop. Sway those hips side to side. Keep your core engaged, tone through the belly. You can start to let your shoulders and head play. And then come back to center. Up onto the fingertips, left foot steps through. Square the hips, hands to the left thigh. Shoulders down, core engaged. Breathe to your midline. Pretend there's a line right down the middle of your body and everything squeezes to the midline. Hug it all in. Find your steadiness. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up overhead and set your shoulders down so there's space between your shoulders and your ears. Feel the rooting down to the earth. Where are you touching down? Lift up from your roots. Get taller in the pose. Lovely job. Exhaling both hands to the mat right away. Rooting right hand down, turning the belly button in towards the inner left thigh. Reach the left arm up. Move as fluidly as you can today. Exhale. Send the left hand back on down to the floor. Good. We're going to pick our right knee up this time and be able to step forward into our first forward fold, Uttanasana. Step your right foot to meet the left. Root them both firmly to the earth, about hip distance apart. Pull the belly in. Drop the top of your head right towards the earth, looking back at your legs. Don't look forward. Let all the tension fall. Just spill it out through the top of your head if you need a little bit of movement just to let it happen. Soften the shoulders, strengthen the legs. Lift your sit bones. Keep your knees soft. Know that we will emerge from this time better than what we came into it, if that is our choice. Let's emerge from this pose with a nice strong inhale. Begin to lift up one vertebrae at a time, just rolling our way. From our roots we grow, and then we stand tall in our truth, standing mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms come together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Remember your intention. Inhale, reach up. With a long spine, swan dive. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale and rise halfway. Exhale, take both fingertips or hands down to the floor so you can step your right leg back, coming back towards a lunge. Square the hips. Inhale the arms up overhead. Crescent lunge. If this feels too much, you just drop that right knee down to the mat. Come back to low lunge. We're going to open up the hip. So right now our hips are closed off. We're going to turn our right heel down to the left and open up our hip and belly button over to the right. Sweep the arms to forward and back, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Let's take a look down at the left knee. Track it towards the left edge of your mat more than the right. Press into both feet, and as you do, rotate a little bit more towards that right side of your mat. Now turn your gaze and look over your front fingertips if you haven't already. Feel the strength and steadiness of this pose, Warrior 2. Good. Turn your front palm over. Stretch up and back and find an exalted warrior or a reverse warrior. Look up. Feel a big stretch from your hip all the way up through your fingertips. Come back to center. Virabhadrasana 2. Begin to release the hands, windmilling them back down to earth as your right toes come back forward. Nice job. Step it forward. Forward fold. Breathe. Deepen your fold. Keep your knees soft. Sigh out through the mouth here and let it all go. Root your feet down. Slowly inhale, rise. One vertebrae at a time. Let's let the arms dangle here. And just gently rolling the shoulders back over the hips in time. Ears over the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms come together. Exhale. Right back to your intention. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Fingertips touch down, left leg sweeps back. We're coming to crescent lunge. Keep both toes forward. Front knee over front ankle. Root down through your back ball of the foot. So left ball of the foot roots down as you rise into crescent lunge. You can push out through the back. Heel a little bit and deepen the pose if you feel ready. And then we open up, Warrior 2. Simply move the toes to face the left edge of your mat. Drop the heel to the right. Look down and sweep that right knee open towards your right pinky toe. Draw the hip open. Press into the back foot to allow for a little bit more opening to the left edge of the mat with the hips. Look forward and back if you need to make sure your arms are in line with your shoulders, and then turn that gaze right over your front fingertips. Gazing into your future, into your activity and action. Watching out there in the distance as your intention comes to fruition. Stay centered right here, present. Being able to see the value in the intention. The value in this moment, such a time as this. Flip the front palm over, reach up and back. Take very little pressure on the back leg. If you have a hard time not pushing down, maybe wrap the arm around the back body. Breathe your way back to Warrior 2. Strong. Focused. Let's windmill the hands all the way down to the mat. Turn your left toes back to the front of the mat. Touch the hands down. We're going to step the right foot back, coming to what we call downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So think of being in an inverted V sort of shape and pressing your hands into the floor as though you're pushing something heavy away from you. Lengthen your arms back so the shoulders are away now from the wrists. Your elbows are soft and your heart pulls back towards the legs. Put the front of your thighs pulling towards the back of your thighs as you lower through the heels. Watch your neck, should be nice and soft, not straining whatsoever. One more breath. Beautiful. Step forward. As many steps as you need and find that forward fold. If your hands can't touch the floor once you arrive, put them onto your ankles or your shins. Lift your sit bones. This time when we rise, we'll rise a bit more strongly. Root the feet down, maybe even a small bend in the knees. Sweep the arms out to the sides with a long spine. Inhale and reach all the way up. Exhale, standing mountain pose. Hold here. Steady your breath, steady the pose. Stand tall. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. Bring your hands together and exhale, hands to heart center. Hold the hands at heart center. Feel the rooting down of the feet about hip distance apart. And as though there's a pretend chair behind you, begin to sit your hips down and back. Pull those knees back so they don't go tracking out over the toes. And begin to tuck the tailbone in a little bit, sending it towards the earth. As you lift your heart a bit higher, pull in at the navel. Feel the engagement through the legs, through the core. Keep your shoulders soft. Keep your hands pressing into one another. You can even wiggle your toes here. Nice. Stay low. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Bring them right back where they were. I want you to imagine gathering the energy to live out your intention. Inhale, sweep and gather. Exhale, sink even lower. You're in it. One more time. Inhale. Nice work. Press into the feet and stand up. Beautiful work. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, and we're stepping the right leg back. Turn your right heel down to the left like you did for warrior two. We're going to keep these legs straight though, so don't bend the front knee. And then walk your left hand inside of the left foot. You might even press your left elbow kind of into the left leg as we roll open for triangle pose. So what we want to do here is be able to roll the body really open. So if I get a little stuck here, the best thing to do is rise that base hand onto the leg or onto a block so that I can stack my hips, my ribs, and my shoulders. Yeah, it's a little tricky. That's why this pose is called Trikonasana. Not really, that's just the Sanskrit name, but it's fun. Good. Good, hold on, one more breath. Make sure you're lengthening both sides of your body. And then we're gonna move to one of my favorite poses, pyramid pose. So we're gonna go ahead and rotate the torso back towards the floor and the right hand down to the mat and the left one framing the left foot. Move your back toes about halfway in, maybe even more, so that your hips can come back to squaring to the top of the mat. So now the hip bones are back to facing forward here. If you can't quite touch the floor, again, you might grab something to put your hands on. The legs are still straight. You should be feeling just a little bit of burn and stretch in there as you pull those hips to squared. Left hip back, right hip forward. Now, if you can, we've got a pretty flat back right now and we're reaching long. We'll think about bringing our body down over the leg. So I would start by thinking of touching my belly to my thigh, and then my rib cage, and then my chest. And should I come to get my chest onto the leg, I might then continue to try to touch my nose to my leg. Keep squaring those hips, keep breathing. Breathe into the depth of the stretch. Feels like a great big headache up and down your leg. Good. Now we're going to release. So we're going to inhale to rise our bodies up a little bit if we took them deep. Bend your front knee enough to give you some space. And then just step forward and find that forward fold. Beautiful. Hold no tension here. Let your head dangle down. Shoulders soft. As though there's no muscles in your neck. They're just there like spaghetti noodles. One more breath. Inhale and rise halfway. Flatten out your back. Pull your shoulders back. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Let's try the other side. We're going to step that left foot back and drop the left heel down. Keep those legs fairly straight here. Good. Walk your right hand inside of the right foot. You can press the elbow in a little bit to help as you peel your way open. So opening to the left. You can even place a hand gently on your rib cage and just help kind of find that space. And then you want to lengthen the crown of your head forward, away from the hips. Left arm into the air, maybe pulling up a little bit. I like to push the back of my palm into my shin and help to roll myself open, because the action is the opening up of the body, as though there's a wall behind you that you're trying to set your back body against. Good, couple more breaths here. Now, gently rotate. Left hand comes down. Frame that front foot and pull those left toes forward, maybe 45 degrees. Pull your right hip back. That's where you start to feel the big stretch when you square those hips. Lengthen forward. Get deep into the ache of the right leg. Remember, if you don't like it, change it. Or if you don't like it, but you can be with it, maybe just change your attitude. Let's go ahead and bring the belly down. Maybe the ribs. That might be as far as we go, right there. And then we just kind of reach the crown of the head down. Just keep the action being a long spine and squared hips, and you'll be just fine. Come on now, breathe into it. Couple more breaths. Good. Bend that front knee, lift up just a little bit. Step the left foot to meet the right. Fold in half. Good, couple more breaths here. This next phase of our practice will be a bit of balance. We're going to take it step by step. You can go anywhere along the path, stop anywhere that you want. You don't have to go all the way in, but quite unexpectedly, we might find ourselves in a unique position at the end of the pose. Inhale, roll up. Remember, that's how Esther was. That's where our life is today. We have quite unexpectedly found ourselves in quite a unique position. So we practice on our mat how to deal with that. Let's go ahead and step onto our left leg. Now, if you need a wall, great, go find a wall or a chair, something that's not going to move on you. And you could maybe tumble out of the pose, so just make sure you have some room around you and that you have a great attitude and you're willing to laugh at yourself. All right? Let's go ahead and bring that left leg really strong. So pull the muscles onto the bone. Stand up nice and tall. Press your left foot into the mat, and then as you inhale, start to rise the right toes off the mat. This is step one, just finding the balance. Find a little wiggle in that left ankle. Just breathe into it. Good, and then maybe we'll inhale the leg a little higher. Good, you can clasp underneath the thigh or give it a little tug in, stand up tall, right in front of the shin. Beautiful. Well, let's stretch out our quad just a little bit. So I'm gonna push that heel back, like I'm gonna kick the back wall, and I'm gonna pull my right arm back to find that foot. See if we can find it. There it is. And then pull the knees back together, stand up tall and push your hips slightly forward. Do you still have your balance? You can stay here. If you want to go further into this quite unexpected position, here we go. We're going to begin to push our foot into the hand. Hinge from your hips and reach that left arm forward. Beautiful. Pulling the toes upwards, the hand and foot pressing into each other. Dancer pose. Good. Let's go ahead and gently release. Stand up, lift that right knee back up, and set it down. Nice job. Let's try the other side. Breathe and press into your right foot. Good. Let's lift that left foot. Now, so we hug all the muscles of the right leg onto the bone. We squeeze our hips in. We squeeze our core in. We stand up tall. Good. Hold the leg. Find the balance. Maybe quivering just a little bit or wiggling. Stretch the quad. Pull the leg back, arm back. Now, for dancer, I like to see if I can grab the inner part of my foot, the big toe side. The reason is I get a much bigger stretch in my shoulder as well. Good. Quads are together, hips are pressing forward. You ready? Hinge and push. You don't have to come all the way. Breathe. And release. Good. Set it down. Good. Just shake it out a little bit. All right, nice job. And keep stretching those legs and hips and the IT band today, because maybe some of us have been doing more sitting. Maybe not. I know I have been. I'm going to cross that right foot over the left. Okay, so mix them up. Cross right over left. Simply inhale the arms up overhead and exhale and fold. Good. Now you're going to want to place your hands to something. Shins, ankles, floor. Maybe not the dog. He'll probably move on you. And then go ahead and just like you would forward fold, keep those hippies squared and dive deeply in. Notice where you're feeling this. Could you press deeper into your right foot and then the left? And then hold the depth of the press of the left foot into the earth. Woo. Breathe. Nice. Now take that press equally into both feet. Shift the weight around a little bit. And then inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Excellent. Hold the arms up. Unwind the feet. Send the left foot over the right. Square your hips. Exhale, fold. Other side. Get into the pose, lift your hips, soft knees, and then just kind of wiggle in. You'll feel it. You'll see which foot gives you the most bang for your buck, so to speak, the most stretch for your effort. And so you're going to reach into that foot, dive deeply. For me, it's my right foot right now. Really find the depth of the stretch. Don't go to pinching or pain, but don't shy away from that ache. You've got it. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Hold the arms up, shoulders soft. Unwind the feet, hip distance apart. Exhale, sit down to your pose. Bring your hands to your heart. Hold here and breathe. Release the hands down to the floor and lift the hips up, forward fold. Place your hands down firmly on the mat, grip the mat with your fingers, step your way back, and come into a plank pose as though you're going to do a push-up. So wrists are under the shoulders, bums under, bellies in. Reach out through the heels, up through the crown of the head. Shift your weight forward or come to your knees, and then slow lower all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes. Press the hands gently, not too hard, into the earth. Use more of the press of the pelvis as you inhale your head and shoulders off the mat and gaze gently forward, cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Pull back on the throat a little bit. Nice work. Inhale, press your hands and knees into the mat. Sweep all the way back. Child's pose. Good. Sink the forehead down. You can find a little rounding in the spine if that feels good to you. And we're going to relax the shoulders. Good. Let's take one more breath. Fantastic. Let's inhale our way back to tabletop. Let's stretch out those shoulders a little bit here. We hold some tension sometimes in the neck and shoulders, so let's see if we can get rid of a little bit of it today, okay? So press into your left hand and inhale your right arm up into the air, and just see about opening your body up. Look up. Good. Keep breathing here. We're just going to hold for a few breaths, nice and open. You got it. And now we're going to thread the needle, exhaling the right arm underneath the left, And dropping our right shoulder down to the floor. Take your gaze to the left. Good. Press into your left hand. Open your heart even more. Maybe your gaze comes more up skyward a little. Good. Lift the left hand off the mat if you can, and send the back of your left palm to your right hip. Draw your left shoulder open. Make a fist with your right hand, and then sparkle your fingers out. Unwind your left arm back to the floor. Press into the left hand and inhale your right arm all the way back up into the air. Open your body to the right. Fantastic. Release. Tabletop. Other side. Inhale, left arm rises. Hold here. Try for shoulders and hands in line, arms in line, but maybe not. Exhale, thread the needle. Left arm under the right. Set your left shoulder down. Take your gaze to the right. Nice job. Keep your hips high, right over the knees. Press into the right hand so you get a nice open body here. Good. You can rise that right arm and stop there, or twist and bring the right back of the palm to the outer left hip. Draw the shoulder open. Nice job. Let's release. Exhale the right hand back to the floor. Press into the right hand and open up. Turn to the left, look up. Exhale, left hand down. Beautiful. Step the hands forward. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Draw this pose into your body. Don't do the pose, be the pose. Let it start to feel natural as you roll your shoulders apart, let your head dangle, heels heavy. Nourish your body. Breathe. Nice work. Release back down to tabletop, hands and knees. Line it up. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and glide your right leg out long and over to the right. Set the right sole of the foot down, toes facing forward, and then sweep your hips back just a few inches or a few feet. Keep that foot planted. Breathe back into that right hip. Anywhere along this path. Fingertips still gripping the mat, arms long. Nice. When you're ready, on the next inhale, bring it all the way back. Shoulders and wrists in line. Push into the left hand. Roll open. Lift the right arm. Look up. Breathe. You can smile. For such a time as this. Release the right hand down. Slide that right foot back. Bend the right knee, send it in. Tabletop position. One round of cat-cow here. Inhale, shine your heart forward, open your sit bones. Shoulders down. Exhale, round through the shoulders, round the spine. Come back to your flat back and glide your left leg behind you. Left leg slides to the left. Set the foot down. That leg's kind of straight out from my left hip. Press back. Now I want my hips to come equally and squarely back. So if I start to lose one side and I'm diving too much one direction, that's going to be where I stop. And you'll notice could be quite a bit different, like mine is, from side to side. Maybe not. Maybe you can get both. I'm going to go down to my forearms here. You could do that. Remember last time, if you looked at the screen, I could set my hips all the way back. That would be uncomfortable here, so I'm not going to do it on this side. I'm just going to go and work within my range of motion on each side. You should too. Nice. Let's inhale, come back up. Make sure wrists and shoulders are in line. Press into the right hand, lift the left, open up your body to the left. Gaze up if you can. Fantastic. Let's take the hand all the way back down. Slide that left leg back, lengthen it out first, and then pull it back in. Tabletop, cat-cow, inhale. Pull your heart forward. Little arc in the back, exhale. Round that spine. Push away from the earth. Let's do it again. Inhaling. Sway that cow. Open your sit bones. Exhale. Pull it all in. Tuck it in. Lovely work. Hold here. So we're holding the round spine. Chin in towards the chest. Crown of head towards the earth. Keep the rounded spine. Keep the chin tucked in. Set the hips back and sweep those arms back to the feet. Tops of head reaches to the floor. Balasana. Just move your breath into your back. Breathe. Inhale, take the arms back in front of you. Press into the hands a little bit to lift you up. And then come around to sit on your mat. Very nice. We'll find our sit bones, bring the soles of the feet together, and see if we can find some release in these hips today in Baddha Konasana, or cobbler's pose. So a couple of options for you guys there at home. You can hug heels in towards the groin, or you can lift up sit bones and pull them towards the heels, which feels a little bit more intense for some reason. Make sure your sit bones are rooted and try to be in a position where your knees aren't too high up. So if you need to create more space between the heels and the groin to drop the knees down, then by all means do. You want to feel a little tug in those hips. As we inhale, sit tall and see if you can grab your ankles or peace fingers onto your toes. So we're going to hold the ankles or toes. And then our next option, I'm going to turn this way so you can see, is to kind of find a little balance. This is nice core work. So we would just hinge back, pushing those feet into each other, and see if we could bring the feet off of the floor. And keep your spine long, your shoulders on your back, and your chest on your front. Now make sure there's mat behind you in case you lose your balance. You're welcome to stay here, or extend the left leg a little bit or a lot. And you can extend the right leg a little bit or a lot. Good. Let's pull those feet back in together. If we took them out, take your time, and then set them back down and release the hold. Now we're going to hinge forward. So we do want to make sure we're on those sit bones again after we rocked back onto them, so if you need to make any little adjustments. And we'll grab onto the ankles and just begin to think heart to heels. So I might only get a little ways and I go, oh, that's not going to feel good in my, so that's where I stop. That's called your edge, just right there. Don't want to tip over the edge, not a good thing. You want to be right there. And then if the edge changes and you can dive in a little bit more, then feel free. You should be able to breathe easy and smile the entire time. If either of those things go away, easy breath or the ability to truly smile, then you've probably tipped over the edge a little bit and you want to back off. Let's just take a couple more breaths and see about letting go of those hips a little more. So I'd really like you, if you can close your eyes, to just feel what's going on down into the hip joints, into the hip sockets. And just notice if you can soften a bit more, because there's always another layer. You can always soften just a bit more. And we hold tension and trauma and fear and lots of ugly stuff in our hips a lot of times, so it's a good time to let it go. You can even sigh through the mouth and just be like, oh, I'm letting that stuff go. Nice. Let's inhale. Come back up. Very good. All right. Stretch the legs out long. Give them a little wiggle. If your knees got tired, give them a little love, a little rub. And then inhale the arms up overhead. Sit tall. And then pretend there's a little ball here. Just reach up and over as you fold over those legs. And do you remember that action that we did in pyramid pose of belly to leg, rib to leg, chest to leg as we lengthen out the spine? That's the same action here in this fold. And then wherever you get to with that long spine, you can begin to just let the head drop. Can you put your toes in a nice straight line as they reach towards the sky? Maybe even pinkies reach back towards the ears. Unclench your teeth. Be really present in this moment. We're almost at the end of this practice. These moments went very quickly. That's why we stay present, because otherwise they all move too quickly. Let's take a look at our toes and glide our way up. Just roll your shoulders down and back a couple times. Good. We're going to bend the knees. You can choose to hold on if you're ready to just do some relaxing, or if you're still feeling like I got a little bit more in the engine, in the tank, just go ahead and you leave the arms out as you roll on down to your mat. Press the back of the head into the earth as you arrive. We're going to take a nice big spinal twist now. I'd like you to bring your feet to touch the mat and your knees to bend. And then cross the right leg over the left. So like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. Yeah? You can cactus your arms, or you can pull them all the way out. Push into the left foot and gently slide your hips to the left about 6 inches, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And then drop the knees over to the right. Big twist, leave your left shoulder on the floor, right shoulder as well. If you need to wiggle your upper body around just a slight bit, you can. Now your gaze is starting just up towards the ceiling, but if your neck feels good, you can turn your gaze to the left and stretch out your neck as well. Soften those shoulders, just melt them down to the mat. What I like about having these legs crossed is I can find a little tug by just pulling my right leg down onto my left and forward into my side body. So you can think of left hip away from left armpit here and just stretching out that side body as well as that little twist in the spine. We're going to bring it back to center. Nice and gentle. Bring the head to center. Lift the knees. All right, we're going to unwind this and go to the other side safely. So I'm going to unwind my right leg from my left, and then I'm going to push into my feet and line my spine back up nice and straight. All right, then once I'm there, left thigh over right. Little press into my right foot to move my hips to the right. Drop the knees to the left. Glue the right shoulder down, take your gaze to the right. And you can find that little pull, just kind of gently tugging with your legs to get that right hip away from your right armpit. That feels nice. Good, breathe. All right, fantastic work. Head back to center, knees back to center. Nice slow lift. Use your core to help you out. Unwind the left ankle and then move those hips so that the spine is long on the mat. Come to crisscross applesauce, your legs lying down. So cross the shins and set them down on the floor, opening the knees up. And then forearms will cross and touch each other. Layer them one on top of the other, and either place the forearms to your forehead, like a nice little heavy weight on the forehead, or if you prefer, as a pillow for your head behind you. This is a whole body mudra. We're going to use just to open up the body and breath. Take a few big inhales and exhales here. On the inhale, just breathe back into your intention. Feel it. Resonate with it. Small change. Switch which leg is in front on your crisscross. And if you can, switch which arm is on top. A few more breaths here. Let it just fill every space of your body, all the breath. It brings life. It brings energy. Great work, you guys. We are going to stretch out long. Go ahead and reach the arms up overhead. Reach the legs down the mat. One big long line, 2 big breaths. Inhaling, tug between the fingers and toes. Exhaling, one more time. Good, let everything go. We're going into Shavasana. Bring your feet out wide here. Come to the outer corners of the mat. Shoulders are rolled underneath you, and the arms are just out from the body a little ways, palms face up. Get all your wiggles out, move around, collect yourself, collect the clothes, whatever you need to do here. And then sigh your way into a still space that you won't move from for the next few moments. To the best of your ability, stay still and relax your muscles away from the bones, soften your jaw, drop the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Release your forehead muscles to relax and the space between your eyebrows to soften. Feel the support of the earth underneath you. You could sink as deep as you want and it would still hold you up. You are supported in this time. Feel the life of the air around your body. Let it nourish you. You are alive in this moment in the timeline. Keep resting more fully, relaxing more deeply as I share with you this adaptation of a poem by one of my favorite yoga poets, Dina Folds. I am filled with quiet joy for no reason, save the fact I am alive at such a time as this. The message I receive is clear. There's no time to lose from loving. No place but here to offer kindness. No day but this to be my true, unfettered self and pass the flame from heart to heart. This is the only moment that exists. It's so real, so simple, so unique and unexpected. Perhaps I was born for such a time as this. Inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale fully through the mouth. Lift the corners of the mouth just a little bit on each side. As you start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, you can rock your head from side to side. Slowly, mindfully, carefully move onto your right side into the fetal position. Use your right arm as a pillow. And just breathe here. The fetal position is new beginning representation. It's a new start to your day after your practice. Maybe a new start to this season that we're in that is unexpected and unique. Maybe a new start to your attitude. Go ahead and rock your way up to seated and sit tall and well. Take easy seated pose if you'd like, or any other position. Bring your hands into your heart, gathering your intention, gathering the follow through, being in gratitude, and holding space for such a time as this. Thank you, yogis. The light in me honors, salutes, and bows to the light within you. Namaste.